Hi guys, this is Rose plugging in, giving you Everlasting Summer. It is a Russian visual novel that I love dearly, and I wanted to showcase it to you guys. I hope you guys will like this. I will be turning it into a series no matter how much views I get on it, because I love this series. It's set in Russia. It is a Russian visual novel. And just before we get started, I want to tell you that I don't know Russian, so I will be butchering some Russian names. Sorry about that. And also, the link is in the description below to get it. It is free on Steam. And let's get on to it. I was having that dream once again. That dream. Same thing every night. But it's all forgotten in the morning as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of a memory will remain of gates half opened as inviting me somewhere, with two frozen stone pioneers standing close by. Also that strange girl who keeps on asking me, "Will you come with me?" Come? But where? And why? And where am I anyway? Of course, if it all happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. What else would have one expect to feel? But this is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Something desperately seeking my attention. Since everything that surrounds me here is real as things in my own flat, I could open the gates, hear the cringe creak, brush the crumbling rust away with my hand, inhale the fresh cool air, and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that, I would need to pick myself up, take a step, move my hand. But this is a dream. I understand that, but what of it? What does my understanding change? Because here, it's like on the other side of a cracked screen old TV, which struggles to fight against the static noise, strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. Yes, the gates. Excuse me. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over an I is called a tittle, but the dot over a J is called a superscript dot? Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? Because even if I'm having this dream, which will be forgotten soon anyways, I have to look for an answer here and now. Because if I look carefully, you'll see the magnificent clouds, and as if I ended up in the southern hemisphere. In a dream, there are small things that catch your attention, a natural color of grass and possible curve of straight lines, or your own distorted reflection, while the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seem trivial. It's natural, and since here you cannot die. I know of it for sure, I have done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point in living? I should ask the girl. She's a local. She should know. Yes, exactly. I should ask her about an owl, for example. Strange bird. One strange bird it is. Though it doesn't matter. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer, it's the only it's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end and I'll never wake up. Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much my life depend on this answer? Or maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Sometimes it really does seem that to me that that was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. As if in our relationship, the screen wasn't an instrument, it was me who was the lifeless piece of plastic and texturoid. There's some truth in that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communications with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in the source code, or a kennel bug, which started a life of its own. If one looks at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and psychologists would surely give me a bunch of psychotic diagnoses and maybe write me a doctor referral to the loony bin. Its small apartment with no sign of repair or any semblance of order in it, and always same view outside the window on the gray megalopus running somewhere day and night. Such conditions are my life. Well, of course it didn't start out like this. I was born, went to school, finished it like all the others. I was accepted at a university where I spent a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working quite well, sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if I'd taken another man's biography. I wasn't living life to the fullest. I was looping over and over in a monotonous circle, like in the movie Groundhog Day. It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeat itself, the same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there were manual jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my home. My communication with other people almost exclusively consists on online correspondence with the anonymous or who have no real name, no gender, no age. So, in brief, quite typical life of a quite typical antisocial person of its time. Quite of a Donnie Darko on a minor scale without doomsday related visions. If anyone gets that, congrats, because I don't. Maybe some highly respected author will write a novel about me, and it will become a complimentary classic of modern literature. Or I will write one myself. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times, but I couldn't even come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many things as well. Not gifted enough to draw. Programming, got bored. Foreign language takes too much time. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but that still I can never call myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and grandmasters at lame internet jokes. If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happier person, and a richer person too, but I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. Today was another typical day of a typical failures, typical life. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really don't want to. What's the point? The time I spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate, and one of the few with whom I kept in touch with, other than through the internet. Our star is really pretty. A frosting evening. Bus stop, waiting. I never liked winter, though hot summer is not my season either. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It doesn't matter much what the weather is outside when you're stay home 24/7. The bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, a million thoughts flew through my head, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give shape, turn into an idea, and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business, but where would I get the money from? Or maybe I could go back to working in an office? No way. Maybe I should try freelancing? But what skills do I have and who would want me after all? I suddenly remembered my childhood, or rather my teen years, the time when I was 15 to 17 years old. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions, so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I was eagerly looking forward towards the weekend. Then I could get some rest, have time for the things I liked, computer, football, going out with friends. And then at the beginning week, I'll take my studies up again. Back then, there was no such worrying questions like why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. A simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person, so odd to myself today. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her: affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it did not last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happen. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation and what on earth to discuss and how to attract her. Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time. But where could I meet one anyway? The sound of engine brought me back to reality. As the bus pulled over, there was something abnormal about it, I thought. Then again, it doesn't matter. The only 410 runs this route. The street lights pass by me, as if their cold light sparkles inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not to ignite, just awaken them. Because those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio is playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by through the fogged up window. Because people are always running somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems. Or maybe they have such easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you'll see only impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. My eyes closed just a moment, and then... Well, guys, I'm going to leave it off here. And I left a link down below for the intro. I didn't want to put it on here since I don't know if it's copyright or not. If I find it, I will put a link direction below. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and please click on that bell when you do subscribe, so you can get notified when I put up a next video. This is Rose Unplugging. Hope you guys enjoy your day.